we have Anthony Merriweather from ETL Source. His company, they are a group of Power BI developers, software engineers, and Dynamics GP data analysts that have over 60 years combined industry experience building world-class software. Anthony's company was founded in 2005, and they develop state-of-the-art business intelligence solutions using the Microsoft Business Intelligence Stack, which includes SQL Server and Power BI. So with that, I am going to turn the presentation over to Anthony, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, we're the geeks over here. That's what we do. We build solutions. What we'd like to show you today is the report pack for Dynamics GP. Report pack is a set of pre-built Power BI dashboard reports for surfacing your data in your financials, your sales analysis, your inventory, purchasing, and project accounting. What we tried to do was focus on the modules most used by GP clients worldwide. The report pack, again, consists of those 5 modules and close to 100 pre-built dashboard reports for surfacing the analytics within those particular modules. What I'd like to show you today, because of the time constraint, again, it would take us quite a long time to get through 100 reports. We're going to focus on 2 modules here today, the sales analysis and the financials, because that's something that everybody is using one way or another. Inventory, you may use it, you may not be. Purchasing, again, you may not be using it, you may be using it. So we're going to look at the sales analysis and the financials. We'll take a look at the financials first. Now, the environment we're looking at here that you see on this screen is the Power BI Pro Service environment, which is a Microsoft hosted cloud-based repository for all Power BI reports. So what we see here is exactly what everyone will see when you have the report pack for Dynamics GP. Here we see the reports that are contained within the financials module, and there's quite a few of them here. And all of the reports can be modified. You can change the visuals. You can change anything you want about these reports if you feel a need to. You may want to change the way the report's categorized. We're going to look at some reports that are categorized by salesperson. Some are categorized by customer class or item class. Those may not be relevant to your particular operation, but those categories can be changed to the categories that you like to look at your reporting by. Those changes can be made within minutes. So what we have here is your AP, aging. This is the test data from the Fabricam database. I think everyone's pretty much familiar with what's in there. And here we only have 61 and over, as we can see by the color-coded blue here and the corresponding legend. But if we had some currents, we would also see those on this line in multicolored. To just demonstrate that quickly, I'm going to switch to another report that actually has agings more than just 61 and over, just to show you what that looks like real quick here. And this is what we're talking about. You'll have multiple colors on a line to denote each type of aging for that particular customer or vendor. In this case, we're looking at customers here. Okay, so let me go back to the financials now that I've showed you what that looks like when you have multiple agings within a particular customer or vendor. And all the reports have drill-through capability, so I can go to the detail instantly. And I can see all the details surrounding that particular aging. So basically I have everything I need here, and all the reports are interactive. So if I click on a particular visual, all of the other key performance indicators and graphics will change in accordance with what I've clicked on here. So I have 127,000. I can see that 127,000 is reflected here in this visualization, and it makes up 9.6% of all of the AP. I can do that and hold the control key and just zero in on the particular vendors I'm interested in, and I can see the key performance indicators with respect to those. Pretty good. We also have the financial statements in here, and we have filters on these reports. As you'll see, they look like these, and they give you the ability to select and filter the report based on the criteria you're looking for. So we have our balance sheet here, beginning balances all the way through the end of the year, and we can also switch this immediately to the income statement. Now we have our income statement. And this is really ready for printing if I want to print this. But I have that readily available to me at the click of a mouse. If I am only interested in certain categories, certain account categories, I can select those and just focus on those. The reason we have that filter here is because this page will contain a lot of data other than the test data. So you may want to filter that by a particular category just so you can see that and focus on that. We have our balance sheets and P&L, which is basically a way to look at all of the things we just looked at in these financial statements. So everything I see here, I can look at it another way here. And we have, again, our filters are on all of the reports. So I can filter this by any criteria that I want to. I only want to look at 2018. Then I can see only 2018 here in the detail and the graphics for those. Again, I can focus. I can further filter that to just a particular account category. And here I see only January, February, March. Everything's here. And the balances associated with that. If you'll notice, every time we click on one of these filters, the other filters change also. And that's the behavior throughout the entire report pack, because it's smart enough to know that cash belongs only to a balance sheet account. So we only see balance sheet available here. And if I unclick cash, now it knows that the profit and loss statement is in play. And it knows which account categories are relevant to profit and loss and which months there are profit and loss activity. See, if I click, see, it knows which categories were in play in 2014, which were in play in 2015. So it's very smart. Again, we can drill through from this grid here and look at the detail surrounding that. And it takes me right there to it. And the report pack also has a forecasting feature. Forecasting meaning predictive analytics, AI. So not the type of forecasting that says, well, if I increase sales of this item by 10%, what will it forecast? This is not that type of forecasting. This is the type of forecasting based on your real data. What you sold throughout the year, what you sold every year since your GP came into existence. So here, for instance, let's look at if we have enough data here. We have enough data in 2018 in the P&L side to forecast any category we want. Let's do not enough data for cost of goods sold. We have enough data for other employees' expenses to see what the other employee expenses were January all the way through till December. So now what it's looking at here in this gray area is the forecast for the following month. So we have December, so this will be January's forecast for the other expenses account category. And we can do that across every general ledger account, every balance sheet P&L account. So you'll know what to expect next year or next month. And if you don't like the forecast, well, you can do something to change that. That's what forecasting is for. So if I select multiple years here, now I can look at the yearly balance forecast. I can see the years, actuals for all of the years, and I can see what to expect in 2019. I can expect $17,237. Again, if I don't like that forecast, I have the tools here and the knowledge now that I can change that. But if I don't, all things being equal, that's what you can expect. It's very accurate. It uses probability statistical algorithms used by actuarial and data scientists today. And moving along here, we have our month-end GL balances. These are the GL balances forward and your net changes for all of the account categories, or whichever ones you're interested in seeing. And we even will let you focus narrowly on the actual account numbers within that account category. So let's just look at cash here for a moment. And now I filter just to the cash account. In our cash category, we only happen to have payroll in this instance. And I can see my month-end GL balances, or basically this is a financial statement, balance forwards. And I can look down here and see the actual net changes in that month. I see here that January was 4466. We had activity in February of 22,000 reflected in the February balance forward. So I can see the activity and the balance forwards for all account categories here. Pretty powerful stuff. We have our controlled account changes. Again, we can filter that by any category, year, month, and document status we want. Document status meaning open work. Open is what has been posted. Work is what has not been posted yet. And I can see the activity of the account, all the account categories. I'm focusing on cash here because I want to see if there's any unusual cash activity going on. Again, everything's interactive. I click on one thing, all the other visuals change in accordance to let me understand that particular data point better. Okay. Good. And you have your control account detail changes. And for those of you who have budgets, which I know everybody does, here, let's look at our budgets. We have our budgeting here. Again, we can filter that. And we can see the budget versus actuals. If I get, yeah. There we go. 2018, the cash payroll, I can see what was budgeted and actually occurred. I can see a positive variance, which means I'm over budget, and the percentage I'm over budget, and the activity monthly within that budget category. Pretty good. And we have the budget detail. It remembered the settings from the prior screen, so I don't have to reset my categories. And I can look at the detail surrounding those actuals versus budgeted amounts. And I can look at the trend for that particular budgeted item. And again, we have forecasting for the budgets as we had forecasting for the P&L and balance sheet accounts. It's the same thing. Saw earlier. Only on this one, I've also added some adverse lines and average actuals line. We have a downward slope here. And again, we can look at multiple years budgeted items and see what the budget is going to look like next year. If I don't like it, I can change my processes to better that number. We also have receipts and deposits in here, bank receipts and bank deposits. We can again filter that. With the test data, there happens to only be receipts and deposits for 2014. And your deposit numbers. Look at this checkbook ID, and I can see all of the deposits and receipts surrounding this particular bank account. What type of transaction it was. Dates. The amounts. So I've given you all the information here from your GP data. We've also included a check register. We're not going to go into that. Everybody knows what a check register is. And we can filter that. And now the check register data is here. And we have bank reconciliation through the last reconciled date. And I can see when this was last reconciled and the balance when it was reconciled. We have cash in, cash outs, just a multitude of information here. That's cash in, cash out by transaction date. What's coming in, what's going out per category and account name, whether it's an increase or decrease effect on the account. And we can filter that by the series. And we have a new report we've added recently at the request of the CFO at Georgia Pacific. Now this report here, they were having difficulty balancing their GL after postings. They post a lot of transactions, and if something goes wrong with the posting, the GL's out of balance, and it's really difficult to bring that back into balance because one transaction can affect up to 20 different GL accounts depending on how your organization's structured from a GL perspective. Now, in this case here, we have our filters. We have our key performance indicators, 3 of them, that correspond directly with these grids, 1, 2, 3. The GL side, the account transaction side, and the account transaction summary side. And these key performance indicators have the balances for each of these grids here. So I see here we have an imbalance here. If I look at this red area here, this is what is the giveaway. I see it's a $773 imbalance. So something in the transaction detail didn't post to the general ledger. Depending on how many transactions you process in your posting, it can be a nightmare. This case here, it's telling me that this particular journal number, which is a transaction, and that transaction affects all of these GL accounts, just that one transaction. So to try to bring this in balance, I have to issue an adjusting entry across all of these GL accounts. So if I zero in on that particular journal number up here in my filter, 2892 there, I see that this journal number, these transactions didn't make it to the GL. They're not there. So now I see exactly what I need to do in terms of debits and credits across all of those GL accounts to bring that GL into balance. And then these will be in balance here, and I'll see those transactions over here in my GL. But with this here report here, I can do that in a matter of minutes. So I've given you the transaction detailed in T account form. So debits equal to credits. And we have fixed assets in the report. We have fixed asset detailed in the report. We have your company taxes in this report module. And we have your tax detail in the report module. I'm going to move on to the financials, the sales analysis real quick here next, since we've went through the financials here. Before I do so, I want to open it up for any questions you might have on this module here. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them now or at the end of the sales analysis presentation. Sometimes, seeing your data like this can be a little overwhelming, especially if you're used to looking at the paginated reports, the smart lists, the management reporter type reports. But this is data analytics here and AI. So this is the future of reporting, all reporting, in fact. So what we've done here, we brought the future to medium and small businesses, where it was previously the province of the multinational corporations and the real big boys. But I decided to devote our resources to creating something that small and medium-sized businesses can have the same type of data analytics that, in fact, probably even some better data analytics than the big boys have. So, having said that, let's look at the sales analysis. Now, this sales analysis here, we have two versions of the sales analysis module, and one is for SOP, those of you who have the SOP module in play, and those who just run their sales through your receivables system. So, again, first we start out with our AR aging. And let me show you something. We have additional functionality here. We can share this report with whomever we want within our organization by simply putting their email address there. And now they'll be able to see the same report that you see. All of these reports have the ability to create personalized dashboards from. So you can create a dashboard from a dashboard report by simply just clicking on the pin there and say create a new dashboard called sales. I create this dashboard called my sales. Okay, I added that to it. I also want to add that to it and take that too, because I want to see sales all the time on my phone, on my tablet, or wherever I want to take it. I want to know the total. So now it's created a personal dashboard for me that I can see on my tablet, on my phone. This is the phone view. So that's what I would see on my phone by simply downloading the Power BI mobile app once I have the report pack. And when you use the report pack mobile view, if you click on one of these visuals, it will take you to the underlying report from which it came. So that quickly I created my own dashboard. It's just some of the features. Okay, again, we have our drill through here. I can drill through to all the detail I'm looking to see with the agings. And there they are. There's a detail. What we have here is the main sales analysis dashboard report. Again, you see our filters that we have out here, our key performance indicators. I'm going to show you some of the artificial intelligence that the report pack has in it. If I look at this revenue by month here, I see a decrease. I see a big decrease here from April to May. So if I want to, I might want to look at that. I'm going to analyze that by right-clicking, and I say, explain this decrease to me from April to May. So we see the April amount, and we see May down here. Those correspond directly to these values in the grid. And it's going to explain to me, based on the item description, why there's a 99.7% decrease in my sales from April to May. And it will explain all of the reasons for that are most important with respect to that. I can see here that these particular sales items didn't sell. Let me refocus this. This is just an explanation for the analysis. Let me just refocus this. Okay. And up here you'll see the explanation, which is shown in the grid down here in this visual. It gives you the explanation by item classes if you're using item classes. If you're using, it'll give it to you by customer names, tell you which customers purchased in April, but didn't purchase in May. It'll also show you which sales territories purchased in April, but didn't purchase in May. It'll also explain it by state, if you have your data categorized by state, or if you have the state value in the data points. It'll give you the explanation by salesperson. Who's not performing? Give it to you by rebates. If you use rebates, it'll let you know if those rebates worked or not. Also, it'll give it to you by freight invoiced. Maybe the freight invoice has caused a drop off in sales. Maybe they're getting it free somewhere else, free shipping. Again, by freight. By discounts, if you're using discounts, it tells you whether or not those discounts are actually working. In this case, I'd say no. Rebates again. So that's the type of data and AI that will surface for you for any visual that you see in these reports. Oh. Again, everything's interactive. So if I click on this particular customer, I can see the revenue from that particular customer across the entire year. I can see which salesperson is responsible for the revenue for that customer. I can come at it from a different direction. I can say, what is this salesperson doing? And I can see the customers that salesperson's impacted and the revenue that salesperson generated. I can come at it a different way. I can say, what brought about this in April? And I can see sales to these customers from these salespeople. So there's several ways I can come at the data here and get the insights and analytics to help me make better decisions for my company. I can look at my returns, my quotes, my orders, my invoices, my fulfilled orders, back orders. I can look at everything here relative to my sales. We can look at that by geographic. Let's see what we have happening here. If we have data, okay. Again, I can filter the report any way I want, and I can look at my geographics for that. I can drill through and look at the detail if I want to see what I have here. Okay, Greenway Foods. I can take a look at that detail, see exactly what they bought. Here's what they purchased. They purchased some modems on that date. Oh, excuse me, they returned some modems on that date. I have return selected over here. Hit the back button. Returns. I'm going to change that document type to invoice. I want to see what they bought. Okay. Here we go. So let's take a look and see what Plaza One purchased. And this is what they purchased. The invoice numbers. If I want to look at those individual invoices, invoice 3015, I'll drill through to that and see what's on it. And here's what's on that invoice. Okay. We have forecasting in our sales, the same as we had with the financials and the budgets. We give you the ability to filter that by a lot of different categories here, and get the monthly and the yearly forecasts, which are very accurate. We can see our yearly trend analysis of sales across all of these categories, and just see how we're trending. Let's look at the invoices here. See how we're trending for 2018. Multiple years here so that I can actually see my yearly trends. If I click on one of these data points, see, everything else changes. Click here. Okay, pretty good. We have our lost business reporting in here, where we can see what's sold in the prior months from the prior year and what hasn't sold in the current year in the current months that we had previous sales in. So January, February, March, I can see this is lost business here. I have previous sales, but no current. No current. Again, we can filter that by customer. I can see the lost business to a customer and a particular product line that I sold previously to that customer, but I haven't sold in the current months. It's just lost. And we have the lost business graphics, another way of looking at those losses. We have your item analysis. If you sell individual items or services, we can analyze those. So what we have here basically is the ability to filter your sales all the way down to the lowest level of activity, be it an individual item or an individual service that you provide. So we can filter it all the way down to that individual level of granularity, and we can roll it up to a higher level of granularity. And then you might want to filter down and get into the details of what exactly makes up that particular sale. Okay, we have your unapplied AR. One hasn't been applied yet, meaning paid. Okay. And we have all of that there also. If I select multiple years here, these visuals down here change to reflect the multiple years sales unapplied AR for that particular customer. So if I move this mouse around, I can see the same customer 2013, 2017. Here, this customer is 2017, 2014 unapplied AR, and 2013 unapplied AR. So it gives us ability to see multiple balances, if you will, in this particular visual down here. Let's filter that. It's quite a large unapplied amount here. I might want to begin applying that. So that is the sales analysis module, and we looked at the financial module. Again, we have also modules for your purchasing, your complete purchasing operation, your complete inventory operation, and your project accounting. And a few other things about the report packet. It installs probably within an hour and a half to completely install this product and have you up and running. It doesn't need any IT involvement, which is a blessing to IT, because it's basically turnkey. It just knows where your data is, and it goes and gets it and brings it up to you. The only thing you'll probably need from IT is to know the connection to the GP SQL Server database. What is the name of it? So that's it from an IT perspective. You can also take these reports and export them. I can export them to PowerPoint, and it'll create this nice PowerPoint presentation similar to the one that we included in the handouts section of this webinar. So for those of you who didn't download that handout, please do so. If I click PowerPoint here, it'll create me a presentation of all of these reports with all of the data currently in them. So if I'm going to the board of directors or my investors, or if I just want to meet with upper level management, here it is. I have the backup and the data necessary for that presentation and justification if necessary. Also, these reports, I can send all of this data to Excel if I want by clicking this ellipsis on all of these visuals and then say export the data. I'm going to export the data to Excel. Just that easy. It's done. I'll just drop that on the desktop real quick here. And I'll take a look at that. And there it is. And there's my data. I can send that to wherever I want. I can mash it up. You know, whatever people do with the Excel data. Who knows? But it's just that simple. There's just a lot of things we can do with these. We can make them bigger. We can make them bigger if we want. And we can look at the data underlying that. See all the data. It's just a lot of things that we can do with this report pack. So again, 5 modules, over 100 pre-built reports. You can take them with you on any device. Installs relatively quickly, and we provide the training, installation, and support of the product. We also make minor changes to set different categories. If you don't use the categories that are already set here for you, there's no charge for those modifications. They're pretty straightforward, very simple to make. When you have the product, you also have the ability to scale this product. We release new reports almost every week. We're trying to take that to a monthly release, whereby we build the new reports and the product just grows and grows and grows based on customer input. And your input will be appreciated. If you see a new report that you think you'd like to have and you let us know, then we'll look at putting that report into the product. Okay, having said that, I'm going to turn this back over to Eric, and I want to thank all of you for staying with me here. We hope to get you installed and up and running quickly. I also wanted to make one more observation here, that for all of you who are in attendance here today, what we're going to do is we're going to be providing a 15% discount for all report pack modules if you're in attendance here today. So that will be 15% off of the current price of the modules. The modules each are $4,999, which includes all of the reports, the installation, the training, the support. Training usually lasts about 2.5 to 3 hours. So we'll do all that for you for that. All right. With that said, I'm going to turn this over to Eric. And thank you again for your time and attention.